Hey, how are you now? I want to take you through two things, Kolbe test and understandmyself.com. And these are important, these are real important because you would never, if you went into a doctor, the doctor would never diagnose a solution for you without first examining the symptoms, finding out about your profile, who you are, and also finding out your history. Like, for example, if there's diabetes that runs in the family, or if there's, other health issues that run in the family. They would also look at your notes, your previous notes, health notes, that they haven't filed that are on file in hospitals about you. So they'd find out as much as they possibly can about you before they make a diagnosis. Now, in the current school system, we diagnose every single person without ever asking any questions about who they are. So some people will just fit naturally into what the school system will work well for, and mostly they are what's called, if you go into understandmyself.com over here, um, mostly they are what is called agreeable people. Now, there's also disagreeable people, and disagreeable people do not fit well into the school system, but they are people that we absolutely need. Like, for example, Steve Jobs would have been a very disagreeable person, but disagreeableness breeds invention. So it's a really important trait, but it's not valued in the current school system. The current school system really values people who are agreeable, but will also conform to the standards of the school. So that's why these two things are important. Now, I think if your children are in school, you need to find out who they are first. And anyone who's had children will know that each child is completely unique. A child that has a brother or even a twin who has the same DNA, same mother and father, everything's all very, very similar. You will see that they're very different people. Now, maybe they might decide to wear the same clothes or look the same, but you will know their personalities are very, very different, and they're not the same person. So every single person, even twins, are very, very different. So to get a handle on that, and everyone is 100% unique, but in order to get a handle on them and categorize to some extent, like categorization can be useful. For example, if you can probably see on your screen here my Kolbe result, which is very, very high quick start and medium fact finder, and my follow through and in the implementer are very, very low. Now, what that basically means is that high quick start is an entrepreneurial profile, so it means that, and it's also a extrovert profile, so it means that I will do things, I will decide to do something and do it straight away, and that works well for some people and not for other people. But also I have medium fact finder, which means I will do some research. I will research before, but I won't bog myself down on research, but I will do some preparation and research before. Let's say for a speech, for example, let's say this video, for example, that I'm doing right now, I just put on the microphone and start talking. Now, high quick starts will do that. I didn't do any research for this, but I did do a Kolbe test before. I understand what a Kolbe test is, and I understand what Jordan Peterson's Understand Myself is. But I didn't write a script, although I can. For some speeches I will write a script, but for this I didn't write a script, I just started talking. So that is that profile. And someone else will have a different profile, and there can be a whole bunch of people that will fall into like a high quick start type of profile, but each of the other elements that are slightly different will make them very different people again. So I think it's important to learn this. For example, a high quick start, which is me, high quick start and a disagreeable profile will not work well in the school system. Now, that doesn't mean that you're not a valuable person if this is a similar profile. It doesn't mean you're not a valuable person. It just doesn't means that the school system isn't going to work well for you. Now, what does work, let's say a disagreeable person, for example, because if you ask a disagreeable person to do something, they won't do it. Now, this is coming directly from Jordan Peterson, which I watched the video, he was talking about this. They won't do it. But if they have good reasons that they've come up for doing something, they will do it, and they will do an amazing job on it. but it's got to be their own reasons. So, for example, if you take a disagreeable person, which is more than male profile, and you put them in the school system, they are going to rebel. They're going to say, well, what am I doing this for? I don't, this is not useful. I don't want to do this. Now, if you sit them down, for example, and ask them about their future and what they want in their future, they write that out, and then they have their own reasons for doing what they want to do. And maybe they want to DJ, and so they want to learn about that, or they want to mine Bitcoin, or whatever it is, doesn't matter. But at least then they have their own reasons to do it. And Jordan Peterson has said that in his experiments, it has made a huge difference to particularly girls and boys, but particularly boys in college, and their results. So that's why these things are important, getting to know who someone is. So just a very important part of this is to understand someone's Kolbe profile, and also understandmyself.com. Those two I highly recommend. They're not expensive. I think Understand Myself is like $10. Kolbe Test is like $50, so a little bit more. But for the information you're getting, I think it's really worthwhile. And I think your profile, like you see, mine is 6392, but that profile is going to be something that guides me for years and years and years to come. So for $60 or €60 for both of them, I don't think it's not a hugely expensive endeavor. And I get it, if you have 4 or 5 kids, that's going to cost a lot more, but it's the kids one is less. I think it's like €15 or something like that. But you do have to get a parent translator guide, which is about €50. But it just means you spend €50 for the guide, and then maybe €10 or €15 per child. So it is less if you have a number of children, but it's absolutely invaluable. And nobody's doing this. Absolutely nobody. Nobody asks the child what does any checking on a child, unless a child is falling behind significantly. They might do like dyslexia tests, and they might do IQ tests and things like that, which absolutely is useful. But what about just all the kids? Why is it not done on all the kids? And why do we not try to find out who they are before we start actually trying to teach them? And we find out what this unique child. Now I get it, there's 30 kids in the class, and that makes things difficult. I get that, but that's why you really need to take the bull by the horns and be the driver on this with your own children. So I would suggest that getting a Kolbe test and getting an Understand Myself test. I've done this Understand Myself as well. It's right here, but I just can't find my login right now. But I do have screenshots of it. What my Understand Myself test was, and it was highly disagreeable. And disagreeable sounds like a negative term. There's a lot of terms that I use. These are Jordan Peterson is a clinical psychologist, so some of the psychology terms that I use sound very negative, but every personality aspect has negative and positive aspects to it. So this being very disagreeable sounds very negative, and also there's other aspects of it. Like for example, one of the terms they use is neurotic, and that sounds very negative as well. But if you're in a very dangerous situation, being neurotic can be a useful thing. If you're looking after a baby, being neurotic can be useful. You have to look out for dangers and make sure the baby is safe. It's a huge looking after a baby, making sure a baby is okay, is a huge responsibility. So being a little bit neurotic is actually not bad in that situation. So every element, every personality element, there's no bad personality elements. In any personality element in extreme obviously is bad, but there's no bad personality elements in themselves. There's negative and aspects, negative and positive aspects to all personality aspects. So it's a but it's important to understand yourself, to know who you are. I remember when Steve Jobs, and I'm going to finish this now, it's taking too long, but remember when Steve Jobs was talking about his there was Microsoft and Apple, and Microsoft were just really, really winning the battle, and everybody was hooked up into Windows or OS X. For Apple were better, and the whole Apple, everyone who was into Apple were really, we have to beat Microsoft. And Steve Jobs came out and said, no, we don't have to beat, because Microsoft actually invested into Apple, and a lot of people are very upset about it. And Steve Jobs says, no, we don't have to beat Microsoft. We're Apple. Our job is not to beat Microsoft. Our job is to remember who we are, to know who we are. And I think Steve Jobs understood on a deep level, to know who you are is a really, really, really powerful thing. Now, knowing who you are, yeah, absolutely, it's really powerful and important. Now, but that doesn't mean disconnection. Independence and disconnection is not something that is powerful within itself. The real power comes in connection with other people. But if you understand who you are, then you can have a much deeper connection with other people, and you understand who they are a lot better as well, which means that there's a powerful connection there between people. And also the power in just knowing who you are in itself. But you've got to do this research first, and the kids have got to know who they are in order to make intelligent decisions about what they want to do in their life and how they want to help the world.